Welcome everyone to my AMA for May 4th. May the 4th be with you, as everyone says today. May the 4th be with you, Star Wars, and welcome. As I mentioned this a little bit earlier, I got a new camera, and my old camera was this big beast here. And you're going to see that the new camera, hopefully it's not going to be too annoying. The new camera kind of zooms in and out as I kind of do stuff. And I can stop that, so let me know if it gets too annoying. But I do kind of like it. It's easy to set up, and it just kind of works. And I can adjust all the exposures and all that right from my computer. So that's really, really nice. Okay, so
what causes it to move in and out?
It just follows me. So it's kind of like the...
Like if you back up from the camera?
Yeah, so,
okay.
yeah, it's, Apple has this on their iPads where it follows you around and kind of, this kind of takes a little bit step further, and it zooms in and out as well. So yeah, as I move, you're going to see it kind of moves. So it keeps me in center. I notice that when I edit my videos, sometimes I move over to the side and all of a sudden I'm not all the way centered in the video. It kind of bugs me. And then also, I was showing them earlier, if I just kind of lean back, if I fall asleep, it just zooms in and zooms back out. So it's kind of nice. But what the idea with this is, hopefully what it'll do down the road is I'll be able to, if I talk about equipment or anything like that, and one of these days I am going to give a behind the scenes, but it's constantly changing. But I could be like, this is something that I use, and if I want to zoom in on it, you can do it, and things like that. So, but also, as I mentioned earlier too, it's really easy for me to set up, and I can adjust the exposure and all that right from my computer. I have two windows in my office here. A good studio would be someplace that doesn't have any lighting, so I can control the lighting 100%. And I could do that down in our basement. We have a room, it's actually called the Beth Cave. That's where Beth has her stuff, but I could turn that into a full-blown studio. But I love natural light and all that, so I'm going to have to deal with that right there. And I'd rather deal with that than have it control everything. But this camera does seem to do a lot better with that kind of stuff. So, all right. Anyway,
you don't have a green screen behind you?
No, I don't. Nope. This is my office. I can put a green screen, but yeah, that's my office there.
Okay, no, because when you pointed to the one window to your left, I'm assuming I thought.
No. Yeah. If I'll get out.
It really threw off your audio sync, though.
What's that?
It really threw off your audio sync when you move.
Does it throw off the audio sync?
Hey, your lips aren't even moving now, and
I've become a ventriloquist. I've learned how to do that. All right. Let's get started here. I have probably about 8 or 9 questions here, and we'll get through those, and we'll maybe be able to do a little Q&A after that. I don't want to have this one go too long. Tulip time is starting. Some of you know that have been with me for a while. We have an annual festival here. Her first Dutch dance is tonight, and that's at 7 o'clock. So, and it's actually a nice day here, finally. As Jerry probably knows, we're finally getting some good weather here in Michigan. So I'd like to go downtown and just kind of go around, with that. So let's get started, and we'll get going here. The first question that I have is, this is coming from Christopher, and Christopher actually sent this in. He's from Germany. What's that?
Yeah, that's right. It's 11 p.m. here.
I'm going to mute everyone here, so if anyone has any questions, just unmute yourself. Okay, so this comes from Christopher, and Christopher lives in Germany, and he said he wasn't going to be able to make this. But this is actually a pretty good question. I'm sorry. Wrong one. The printer is one that I was thinking of. Okay, so this is one I was surprised at. How do I transfer my iPhoto library to photos? I forget that people are still using iPhoto. But basically, Christopher, when you watch this later, I'll show you the steps of what you'll want to do. And I think this should work for you. So I'm going to go over to my Mac here. And actually, this could work for everyone else too if you want to. You know, it's kind of like how you would back up, things like that. So, did I not
I'm on screen
mute?
actually, Dan.
I'm going to
It's quite late here, but
try it again
I'm with you
here.
right now.
There we go. Okay. So the way that Photos and iPhoto both work is they have what is called a library. So I'm going to go to my library here on my Mac. It's located in your photos. Oops, looks like I am not in my Johnny. Okay, here we go. It's located in your Photos app, and you're going to see that I have a library here. So this is the Photos library. Well, iPhoto works the same way. So what Christopher will have to do is basically get that library, that iPhoto library, over to his new Mac. You can do this by dragging it to a second hard drive or anything like that. But basically what you want to do is you want to get that iPhoto library over to your new computer. All of your photos are located within that iPhoto library, just like all of my photos are located within this library. I have on my personal account 33,000 photos and videos. They are literally all located within my photos library. So iPhoto kind of started that trend, and that's how that works as well. So you don't have to export your photos out or anything like that. All you have to do is get the library out there. Now, what do you do after that? So you have your library here, but how can you open that up in the Photos app? Well, the Photos app can handle multiple libraries. And what if you wanted to, excuse me, if you wanted to switch between them, what you can do, well, let's go to Safari here, and iPhoto to, here we go, import iPhotos. I think all you have to do is just import iPhoto into Photos. Is just double click on that, hold down the option, bring up, choose a new photo. Okay, there it is. So I'm going to duplicate this, and I'm just going to say that this is iPhoto. So this is what Christopher will have here, two different libraries here. And all you need to do is open up the Photos app, but when you open it up, hold down the Option key. When you hold down the Option key, what you're going to get is this little Choose Library. And when you choose that library, what you're going to want to do is choose your iPhoto library. And when you choose that iPhoto library, what it's going to do is just basically convert that iPhoto library into your Photos library. It will, from what I understand, I don't think it duplicates it. So this is, you will always have the original on the original computer. That's why I like to say just drag it over or copy it. So then you always have your original. Whenever you convert anything, you don't want to convert the original. You always want to do it on a backup in case something goes wrong, of course. So when I convert this, then what it's going to do is convert that into a new library. Now, okay, that's kind of nice. You know, now I have my two libraries here. What you need to do next is combine them. You know, basically you want to get them all into one library. So the way that we do that, combine multiple. I believe we have to export, combine multiple Photos libraries. Okay, so we can import them. Sorry, this is good. This is getting better. I didn't do my homework, as you can see on this, but I thought it would be pretty simple, and so far it's turning out to be good. So what you'll do is open up your original Photos library. You still have your iPhotos library that was converted, and then what you're able to do is import your iPhoto library. So you want to convert it first and then import it. So I'll recap. make a copy of your original one. What I would recommend doing is putting it onto your hard drive here. It's going to be called iPhoto Library, and then you're also going to have your Photos Library. The next thing you want to do is hold down the Option key to open up Photos. You want to open up that iPhoto Library. It's going to convert it into the Photos app. So then what you're going to end up with is 2 libraries. So now what you do is you go to your Photos Library, open it up. So this is my Photos Library, and now what I need to do is import my new, so I would go to Photos here. I would import my new Photos Library, iPhoto Library that was just converted, and then from there it'll bring them in, and then it should all just kind of work. It should keep all the dates and all that kind of stuff. But again, the nice thing about that is you have your original still on your computer. So if it didn't work on your old computer, if it didn't work, you could try it again, maybe try something else. But that's basically how you would convert an iPhoto library into the new library, and then you import them in.
But you have to go up to the file on the menu bar though, right?
Yep, to import them, yep. So convert, then import. So actually it's 3 steps. Convert the iPhoto library, open up your original library, your one that's on the new Mac, and then import that iPhoto library, the converted one. So,
Yep. Terrific.
all right.
Thanks very much, Dan. Much appreciated.
Oh, yeah. Oh, are you on? I'm sorry. Are you on? Are you? I didn't think.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
I'm right with you. Yeah.
All right.
Late at night. I've had a long day, so I'm going to sign off
Okay.
now.
Let me know. Let me know how it goes.
Your info. Yeah, I will do that.
All right.
And thanks again, and good luck.
All right. Bye. I didn't realize he was on. So sweet. Okay.
Yeah, he came on right as you were starting.
Ah. All right. All right.
Yeah, I think I went to mute. But yeah. Well, thanks again.
Yep.
And nice to see you
All right.
Bye.
Bye. All right. Our next question is coming from Roger. Is Roger with us here? Okay. So what Roger asks, I can see it zooming in and out. How can I make my brother HL547DW work on my Mac and iPad? So basically, he has an old brother printer, and he has Mac OS Ventura, and brother doesn't make any drivers for Mac OS Ventura. So he's like, I don't want to throw this thing away. Can I still use it? And the short answer is yes, you can. This actually happened. This is nothing new. Apple actually several years ago started requesting that, we always had to deal with these printer drivers. You'll notice that we really don't deal with printer drivers anymore. That's because Apple is creating these printer drivers, or actually what's happening is a lot of the printers are working with Apple a little bit better. And for the most part, unless it's this really crazy printer, for the most part, you don't have to load a driver. So what I looked up how this all works with brother, and I'll show you what he ran into and then what you have to do. So get rid of my little thing there. All right, so he has a brother. Let me, I got to pull that back up here so I can get that model number. He has a brother HL 5470 DW. So I just search for Mac. All right, now I can get rid of that again. And you're going to see here's the support. So we'll go there, and it'll probably say at least what I ran into and what he ran into, I'm sure as well, is it'll say that there is no driver. You're going to see it has Monterey. Here we'll go to Ventura. There is no driver for Ventura. And actually the page that I ran into, I believe, is the same page that he ran into. It's kind of, do I dare say, a little misleading. They should have worded it a little bit differently. They kind of implied that, well, we no longer support the Mac. It's not that they no longer support the Mac, they just don't have a driver for it because you're using the Mac OS Ventura driver. So it still is supported. Right, here it is. We don't have plans to release official drivers. For printing, what you need to do is use the Mac OS 10.5 driver. And more printers are going this way if it's just a simple printer. So we don't have to deal with all those drivers anymore. So basically, all he has to do is go over to, I believe it's support, or it keeps going into reader mode. Let's turn that off. So here is where he would product search. Oh, here we go. Supportbrother.com. I did this earlier too. I go over here and then I click on this and it's not doing anything. All this is just an instruction of how it all works. So you have to do is go to support.brother.com. I search for the driver, which is an HL-5470DW. And there it is. And then we go over to downloads. And what he has to do is just select his 10.15, or if you're using an older version. Like I say, this has been around for several years. They're slowly getting fewer and fewer drivers. You just click on OK. And now, there it is. All he has to do is download that and install it, and his printer should work with his Mac. Now, to work with the iPad, I do not believe that this is a wireless printer. And the only way that the iPads can print to a printer is if it's wireless. So what you can do, if you have a printer connected to your Mac and your Mac is on your network, you're actually able to share your printer to your wireless network, and then your iPad could print. So in this case here, what he would have his printer connected up to his Mac, and then when he goes over to his system preferences or settings, if you're using Mac OS Ventura, it's under sharing. So I don't know where this is in here, so I'm going to just go to sharing here. And this is everything that you can share. So you're going to see we have printer sharing. So if I had that brother connected up to my Mac, all I would need to do is just click on this. And now what it's going to do is share any printers that I have connected up to my Mac to my wireless network, which means my iPad would be able to print to this computer, and then this computer would print over to the brother. So that's kind of a workaround if you have a printer that is not AirPrint. You can do it through the Mac. And this has been around forever. You've been able to share printers for, as far as I can remember, for forever. Over here you see sharing a printer. Again, all I did was just search for sharing. So I'm going to go to sharing a printer. And here are my printers. And these are the ones that are being shared because I turned it on. So in theory, let's find out. I'm going to go to my iPhone here. And now these are both wireless, but we're going to try this anyway. So I'm on my iPhone, and I'm going to go to a note here, and let's print it. And there's my one printer. What network is this on? Nope. Oh, yep. It should. Oh, there's the Office Jet. So basically, it's sharing those printers. I can't guarantee. I think the Office Jet might not be a wireless printer, so it's going to print through my computer. But that's basically all you have to do. So that's how you can share a printer as well as download drivers, even though the printer company says that they don't have a driver for it. So you're using Mac drivers. All right. The next question.
So what you're saying is you're printing from the iPad through your Mac computer to the printer.
You got it.
Okay.
Yep, exactly. This one comes from Rob, and this is more of an opinion kind of thing, although I do, what's the best and or easiest password management app? And this all depends on what you want to do. The short answer is I think the easiest is Mac. It works. It works across apps. It works across Safari. And does not work with Chrome, so if you're going to use Chrome, you wouldn't be able to use that. But it is certainly, I believe it's the easiest way to do it. And the way that you would do that is you just go over to your Safari preferences or settings, and then from here, you're going to see autofill. And then remember your usernames and passwords. If you want to look them up, all you have to do is just click on Edit here, and you can look up your usernames and passwords. It's pretty simple. It'll suggest passwords for you. It'll autofill them for you when you go to a site. So if I go to my site, I believe I have. So it's ready to autofill it. And all I have to do is just tap on it, and it'll go, and if I change a password, it'll update it. So super simple, and that's basically all it does. So I wouldn't call it the best because that's basically all it does. So it's the easiest, but not the best. In my opinion, and I'm sure that other people would agree with me, the best would probably be 1Password. 1Password has been around for a while. It's one that I used in the past. And why would I call it the best? Because it is cross-platform. So if you use multiple devices or cross-platform, Windows computer, your passwords will be shared with that. And let's go and look this up. With 1Password, it works on multiple browsers, so that's really nice as well. So if you do use Chrome or Edge or anything like that, you can use it. So that's great. And then it also keeps track of more information. I mean, it can keep track of passport information. It's just far greater storing different types of information. You can have different vaults. You can share passwords. I believe you can share passwords with other people. So, 1Password is the gold standard. But when you get all that, of course, you add the complexity of it all. So it is a little more complex, and it's not as easy to use. So if you want super simple, go with Apple. If you want to go with something that does more, then what I would recommend is 1Password. And Jerry, is that filled up yet for your 1Password class or presentation?
I think we had 82.
Okay, so there's a few slots left. I will put it into my notes for when you look at this tomorrow. Jerry is part of MBS Mug and is it Smug, Saginaw, and they actually, after about a year of pleading and prying, they got 1Password to. The actual company is going to give them presentation to their groups here in Michigan. And Jerry and them have extended the invitation to everyone here as well. So if you're interested in that, take a look at my notes tomorrow. I'll have it in there, and you can register for that. They only can have 100 people register for that. So that's why I wanted to ask them if they still had slots. We'll say have about 15 slots left. So if you're interested in that, sign up for it. And then we only ask, if you can't make it, deregister yourself or let them know so then they can open up a slot to someone else. So, but that's what I would say. I would go with iCloud for the easiest, 1Password for the best. All right. What else do we have here? Our next question is, what are Google Passkeys and should we use them? So Passkeys is something that Apple, Microsoft, Google came up with to replace passwords. And essentially what Apple kind of introduced this last year, and they're doing, I would say, a soft sell on it. Safari was the first major browser to use them. And but they didn't force you to use it. Well, Google just recently came out with a policy where they're going to start forcing people to use passkeys, at least from what I understand. I don't know exactly how they're going to do it. So I believe that's where this question came from. What are they?
Dan, this is Tom.
Oh, yeah.
Can I just that's my question, and just read the email. I got the email 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And yesterday I got an email that said, this is a correction to the first email. And I said that this is a scam. I put it on Groups.io and got some answers, and Google is bringing it out. Okay. But what it says is that visit the Google site on your iPhone and click create a passkey by 1 December 2023. After that, your built-in iPhone security key will automatically be removed from your account. And I didn't know what that meant.
Yep.
And I wondered if it's, what's this passkey?
What it all is. Yep. So
Is it a scam? And
no.
I know it's not a scam, but I don't understand it.
Sure, I'll see if I can explain it because it can get a little complicated. So we all know the inherent problem of passwords is someone can guess your password and that kind of stuff. So what these three companies came out with was a solution, and it's called Passkeys. And essentially, instead of you knowing what that password is, that password is stored as a passkey, and your device knows it. So you will never know what that password is. I'm kind of using a loose analogy. I mean, but that password is now transferred from us into your device. So when you sign up for a website, what you're going to do is use a passkey, your computer, and the iPhone, all the devices have to be set up for this, and this is why Apple introduced this in iOS 16, iPadOS 16, I believe it was, just recently. But basically, the device has to be set up for this. So what's going to happen is when you go to a site, what will, instead of you entering a password, what the site will do is it'll look for a passkey, and then your computer, your iPhone, your iPad will transfer that passkey. You'll never see what it is, so no one can hijack or anything like that. And then you'll log into the site, or it'll log into the site for you automatically. Now, how do they know that you are the one using if someone steals your phone, that means that they'll be able to get into everything. Well, then the way that they get around that is biometric. So you have to use your fingerprint. So what my site is set up for it. I should look into re-implementing it. We ran into a few problems with it. Barry remembers this. But I'm going to turn it on my... Actually, let's go to Best Buy. Best Buy has passkeys. So let's go over to my Mac. And let's see here. Am I logged in? I'm logged in. So I'm going to log out here. Sign out. Okay. So when you log into a site, come on. You can do it. And for the time being, you're going to have two different options. You can enter in your username and password, or what you're going to be able to do is enter in a passkey. So I'm going to go and sign in here. And what you're going to see is there's my username and password. So that's the standard way. We're all familiar with that. But in addition to that, what I'm able to do is sign in with a passkey. And if I click on this, what it will do is it won't ask me for a password. What I use is my fingerprint on the computer, and then my device, my MacBook Air here, will go and send that password that I don't know. It's not stored anywhere. It's encrypted, all that kind of stuff. So essentially what Google is saying is we no longer, after 2023, we no longer want to use email and password. So what you're going to end up doing is when you sign into a site, you're going to sign in with a passkey. And here it is. It's asking me to use my fingerprint. So I'm going to go and use my fingerprint. I just created a passkey, and it's going to log me in. So there's no password. There's no nothing. All it is just a passkey. So now when I log out, And I'm going to log back in here. Being that I have that passkey, again, I don't have to use a username and password, so I'm going to go and log in, sign in. And I'm not going to use this. Just skip right out of that. I just sign in with my passkey. I enter in my fingerprint. So that means like Beth would not be able to go out and make mad purchases at Best Buy. Not that she would, but I might. And now I'm logged in again. And if you want to view that, now you can't view the passkey, but what you can do is manage it. To manage the passkey, the site's going to have, like my site has it, this site has it. When I go to my account settings, this is where you would normally see like your password and all that kind of stuff. You're going to see passkey. Now I could go and change my password as well. Remember, I'm dealing with two different systems on this particular one, but eventually the long-term thing is you will not have a username and password. What you're going to have is just this passkey. So how do you, I want to remove that passkey. I no longer want to use this site. Well, that's where you can go into here, and you can see I have two passkeys. What I'm able to do is remove those passkeys. So what you do is remove them from there. Again, I can't look these passkeys up. I can't look at the password, which also means that someone else is not going to be able to look at that password. So essentially what it does is it breaks, no one's going to be able to get into a site. Think of your banking sites and all that when they implement this. The only way that someone's going to be able to get into that site is either through Face ID or through the fingerprint. So basically the only person is going to be you that's going to be able to get into it. So that's, they're far more secure than what usernames and passwords are because it's stored on the device.
I just recently upgraded from an iPhone 11 to an iPhone 14.
Yeah.
And then I'm putting all my sites back on. And I've had occasion that, you click on it, I'm on CNN, and, that story might be interesting, and you click on it, and it takes you off CNN, it takes you somewhere else.
Yeah.
And the computer flashes up and says, this is an unsecure site, and you just get out of it, kind of thing. Every now and then, what I've done is I've gone into Safari and just said, just remove all the settings. I'll put that stuff back on to make sure there's nothing else sitting in there. And also, of course, I clean up phones, erase them when I give them, to the next generation type of thing. If you do this, like if you lose, I lost the Google Authenticator one time, and you never get it back, okay? If you lose the passkey and you don't have access to it, can you ever get back on to say, yeah, this is me, I'm Dan, yeah, I'm the same guy that was ordering from Best Buy?
That's a good question. I don't have an answer for you on that, but that's a good question, and I don't know. How would I sign? Yes, yes, you can. So let's just say that this device, I'm going to remove the passkeys here. So let's just say that this, all passkeys have been removed, and I'm going to sign out. So now this is a totally new computer, right? Let's say it's a friend's computer, and I don't want to put my passkey on that computer, right? So, but I still want to log in, or in your case, like you said, you want to log in, but you don't have that information or whatever. You are able to do that by, let's see if this works. So I'm going to sign in, and there is sign in with a passkey, and then you're going to see other sign-in options. So what I don't want to create a passkey here because this is my friend's computer. So what I do is I go other sign-in options, or maybe like you said, you got a whole new device, and because it's tied to the device now. So you go to other sign-in options, and then what you're able to do is use a passkey from another device. So what I would do is I would click on this, I go to continue, and then my iPhone would have to confirm that it is me, and then my iPhone would, basically go and, here, if I could click on continue, I would scan that QR code with my iPhone, and then my iPhone would say, yep, that's good, it's Dan, and then you can log in. So more complicated, but you are able to still get into the site even if you don't have that passkey or you lost the passkey or you're on a different device. You are still able to do that. So they did build that in.
With passwords, my iPhone, my iPad, and my Mac, doesn't make any difference which machine I'm on.
Yep.
It'll just recognize me and put the password in, right?
Yeah.
Put it in the
Yep.
keychain. Do I have to do another switch to get?
No, passkeys on the Mac, they are all shared between your devices. So if you have a passkey, if I create a passkey on my MacBook Air, that passkey is going to be among my devices, all encrypted, all secure, and I can go to my iPhone and use that same passkey. I won't know what it is, but my iPhone does because Apple shares it with the other devices. So yeah, it still shares it among all your devices. But if I go to the library and I want to log into a site that has a passkey, I need to make sure I have my phone so I can scan that QR code. Once I scan that QR code, it'll let me enter something, something along that line. I haven't really tried it, so I can't say what the exact experience is, but that's basically how it'll work.
Yeah, I never use a public Wi-Fi anymore. My phone's so fast, the public Wi-Fi is so
Right.
slow.
Yeah.
Am I deluding myself that I'm secure because I'm using the phone?
No, it's probably more secure. Some would say you're more secure that way because, public Wi-Fi, somebody could put something on it, if you go down that path. I don't worry about it too much, but yeah, you absolutely are. If you can use your cell for everything, go ahead and do that. Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
So
Thanks, that was just great. Thank you for answering, and I'll give somebody else a chance now. But that was really well done. You explained it very nicely, and I'm not paranoid about the emails anymore.
Okay, good. All right. I do need to implement it back on my site. I implemented it very early when it first came out, and as you know, it's confusing. And I think as people get more and more comfortable with it, now that Google is pushing it out there a little bit further, I should implement back on my site. But it did cause a little bit of confusion with some people, so I just took it off temporarily. So you'll see it on my site eventually. So, all right. Yeah.
is there any
Maybe one day we'll need to put some blood drops in where we can communicate online. It's getting so complicated.
Well, yeah.
Some blood.
I think the reason why it's complicated right now is because there's two different systems and people confuse it into one. You have email and username, password, and then you have passkeys, and it's just like, wait, what am I doing? When really, if we just had one, we'd be fine.
Whatever the system. When I come in my house, I use the key.
Yeah.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the system.
No other options. Yep.
My name, but it's the same system.
But I also can understand, banks are probably going to be the slowest, although they should be the fastest to implement this. But they're probably going to be the slowest to implement it. So, Any other questions on it? No. All right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Is there going to be any non-hardware way of getting in? Like the other gentleman just said, he uses his key to get into his house. Well, I have a hide-a-key, in the garden.
Yeah. The only way that, like here, that's one of those little key fobs. That'd be your hideaway key. I'm going to say, I don't know. That's the part that's a little murky yet. With a username, password, that's it. Username, password, kind of thing. Unless you can get locked out of that too. But I don't know. Time will tell. I'm sure they'll figure something out though. So
Yeah.
it's the three big companies that are working on it. So I hope they're getting it right.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Mike, I see your hand is up. Mike Lawrence. Oh, you're muted. Still muted. There you go.
Yeah, an interesting article in the latest Tech Advisor magazine. The title is AI as an artificial intelligence can crack most passwords faster than you can read this article. And they put an AI-driven tool to the test, and it cracked over half the passwords fed to it in under a minute, and 65% in under an hour.
Yeah. And maybe that is why, Google's kind of putting this out there. I mean, obviously they know, the person, the godfather of AI just, quit Google so he can just say, the dangers of it. I mean, obviously there's a lot of good, but there's a lot of dangers with it. And maybe this is why Google is pushing it out there, because AI is moving faster than they ever thought, let alone us. So maybe this is kind of a prerequisite, like, okay, they're going to be able to guess every password. We need to do something here. And AI is not going to be able to do anything with this because it's using encryption. So this AI can't touch this. No. All right, let's see what else we have here. What is the best way to send a photo album for others to view? So this comes from Deb, and basically, it depends on if the person is on an Apple product or not. So I'm going to show you the two different ways that you can share photos in the Photos app. And I'm going to be using the Photos app because this is how I do it. So basically, I have my photos here, and what you'll need to do is just create a shared album. So we'll first talk about if everyone is on an Apple device. If you're lucky enough to have that, we are pretty good. I have very few friends that are on Android devices, but I'll show you how you can share photos using that as well. But for Apple devices, what you'll do is you'll just create a new shared album. And when you create a new shared album, what you're able to do is, let's go here, you're able to set who sees it. So this little guy up here, you can go and add new people. So if I wanted Chris to be able to view this, I would just click in here and I would type in Chris Miller, and she would get a notification in her photos saying that I've invited her to this album, and she'll be able to view it within the Photos app. It's going to be basically, she can comment on the photos. I can even have it set to where she will be able to post her own photos in here if we set it up that way. So that's the easiest way, but unfortunately, I guess fortunately, I don't want Apple to be a monopoly either, but not everyone is using the the same thing. So you have your friends that are not on Apple devices. This won't work if they're not on Apple devices. So then what do? Well, then what you need to do is, let's create a new shared album here. Why is it not letting me? I got something going on with my computer. New shared album. New album. And I want to share this. Add photos. I can do that. All right, there's something funky going on with this. I'm going to log out, and we're going to go to my other account on here. Let's see here, we'll go to Abigail. Basically, when you create a shared album, what you're able to do is also create a link, and then Apple just puts it into the cloud, and then from there what you're able to do is share that link, and then they can view it within a browser. They can't add any photos or anything like that. It's far more limited, but if you just want them to view a photo, it works just fine. So we're going to open up Photos here, and let's try this. Why create shared albums. Something really weird. I noticed this. Let's go here. Users. Abigail. You're going to see I'm at Abigail here, and all of my folders have a red dot on them. So let's just go and create a new. So I'm going to hold down the Option key here. Sorry about this. Log out. And we're going to go back to Johnny. I hope. There we go.
Dan,
Yeah.
I think where it says My Shared Albums,
Yeah.
to the right of, if you point to that, to the right of My Shared Albums, there's a plus sign.
Yeah, and I don't. So you can see it's not showing up here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I got something weird is going on, but with my computer. Also, now that I'm in Johnny, you're going to notice, and maybe this, you're going to notice that. Okay, so Johnny, okay, good. All right, let's just open up this library. There we go. And somehow, there's that plus. Okay, we're back to normal outside of my screen being a little small for you. So let's go to displays. And, all right. Okay, we're good. We'll just make that. We'll just work with this. Screen's the resolution. You can see it's doing something weird. It's doing something weird on my end, but not on yours, so we won't worry about it. All right. So what when we go to a shared album, so I have my shared albums here, and I'm going to go to favorite photos. So I go up here to the top again. Let me get my Cursor Pro working. So I go up to the top here, and again, this is where I would go and add Chris or anything like that. But you're going to see that I have an option here for public website. So when this is checked, it is not checked by default. So when you create a shared album, this is not on by default. You check on this. It may take a few minutes because what it has to do is it has to upload all the photos to a public website. And it's not a website that anyone's going to guess. But I could share this link with any one of you. You don't have to, all you have to do is open up a browser and you're going to be able to view these photos. If there are videos in there, you'd be able to view the videos. Let's go with another one here. So let's go with this one here. This is a shared album, public website. So I'm going to copy this link, or I'm just going to click on it. You're going to see it opens up in my browser. I'm in Safari, and there are my photos. I can click on them to open them up. I can download them. I can view them as full screen, or your people that are viewing them. Or you can even go into a slideshow. So I click on this, and now it's just going to go into a simple slideshow. So this is how you would share your photos to people that, that are not on Apple devices. Just create a new shared album. Like I was saying, click on the plus here. So I'm going to create a new shared album. What is the name? Let's go with AMA. Invite people. So I invite Chris, whoever, create. I don't have any photos in there yet, so let's go and add some photos. So we'll go with this one here, and this one, and this one. Just add a few of them in here. So now there's my photos, and all I have to do is just go up to the little icon here, and you can see it is not on by default. So I just check this. It takes a minute. There's no link there yet, but be patient. We're going to see, and there's that link. Could take longer if you add more videos, but now I'm able to click on this. I can share this with anybody that I want, and they'd be able to view those photos and videos. So that's how you can share them publicly. And it is, you know, it is a really weird, it's not like, I mean, look at this album here. It's not like someone's going to be able to guess it or anything like that, you know. But that's how you can share your photos publicly with the Photos app. All right, let's see what else we have here. I think this is actually my last question here. Oh, that's it. Thanks for your support. I got a couple of ins in my name. Before we get into the Q&A next week, I am. Let's see here. Where is it? Should go there. No, it started out. Okay. So next week I'm taking off because, as I mentioned in the thing, it's tulip time. So usually we're just out and about, Beth Dutch dances, blah, blah, blah. It's a nice little festival, so I'm just going to take next week off. And then the following week, I don't have it in the on the site yet, but I'm just going to do another AMA. I haven't figured out what classes. So I'm asking you guys this: if there's any type of a class that you would like me to talk about, email me, Dan at Dan's Tutorials, and I'll see if I can throw something together for a class. So. But one thing that I'm looking at is, I don't have it here because I'm charging it. Maybe something a little bit different, but a little fun, like a 360 camera. I've been playing around with that a little bit more, so you can kind of see how that works. But anything that you have ideas on would be appreciated. So that's that. And any questions, Q&A, anything like that?
Yes, I have my hand raised.
Go for it.
All right. A year ago, I got my M1 Mac. And for some reason, and I've had issues in the past, it didn't take my fingerprint.
Okay.
So I've never used my M1 with the fingerprint.
Okay.
I always have to put in the name of my vault. Okay, I don't have any problem with that. Well then, obviously going to the Passkeys that's coming up, they will want a fingerprint. And so I guess I need to do the fingerprint for my M1.
It should work.
So how do I go about putting it in so it takes it? I mean, part of it is my hands are in water part of the time, it's just whatever.
What you'll want to do, so I'm looking at my Mac here, and I'll give you a couple of tips for the fingerprint sensor. So we're going to go to Touch ID, and when you do the fingerprint thing, and you probably know this, but I'll say this, make sure you don't push it. You just have to tap it, just touch it, or and hold it there. But what you may want to do is, there's two things you can do. If it doesn't work with that finger, try another one. Try a thumb, try an index, try a middle finger, pinky, anything like that. But also what you can do is, if you get it to work and maybe it only works 50% of the time, set up another fingerprint using the same fingerprint. So the same index finger. So then, I think you can set up to, I believe it's up to four different fingerprints. So it could be from another hand, anything like that, or use the same finger to see if you can get it to go, and then it'll be more accurate. But there are cases I've read where fingerprints don't, some people's fingerprints just don't work. I don't know what the reasoning would be, but
So I just tap the key lightly?
just tap the key lightly. You don't want to push it. So I'll run through it here. So I'm going to go fingerprint, right? And I enter in. All right, so I placed my finger, but I'm not going to press it. Let's see here. Let me look at my overhead here. All right. So I'm going to switch to different camera here. There we go. So basically, I'm not pressing it. It's not going to click on me, but I just tap, and then I let go. Tap, and then I let go. And now when I do that, you're going to see tap, lift up, tap, lift up, tap, lift up, tap, lift up. And I just keep doing that. Now what it wants is the outer edges. So what I'm going to do here is, kind of roll my finger. So I'm going on the side here. I go on the side here. I'm going to go on the front. And, basically I just keep doing that. And then you're going to get to the point where eventually, there it is, it's ready. So this...
The whole thing red then, is the idea?
Yep, the whole thing is red.
Oh, okay.
And this is using the same finger. So you can use the same finger, and then same thing with Face ID. They do have, you can set up multiple Face IDs, and that is if your phone has a hard time with your Face ID, set up another one using your same face. It's not like we're having face off, but and then it'll make it more accurate. So
Yeah, sometimes, especially if you have a different new glasses with a different frame,
yeah, yep.
or sunglasses too.
And you could do one with glasses and one without glasses. Glasses shouldn't matter, but I know sometimes they do. So
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Okay, I'll try it. I'm gonna be heading to Florida next week.
well, see, just as well.
But almost 2 weeks. So you won't see me for 2 weeks.
All right. Well, have a good trip.
Yeah, graduation for my daughter finally. 23 years to get a BA.
Well, she got it, right?
Yes,
That's good.
We're going.
All right. I see, Mike, you have your hand up, Mike Lawrence.
Yeah, what's the brand and model of your new webcam?
My new webcam is a OBS. I'm going to go with Meet 4K. I don't remember the exact. So it is OBS Bot. And the one that I have is the Meet 4K. So they have some pretty neat stuff here. And I watched a lot of videos on it, and I'm very happy with this. This is the one that I have. You know, these kind of like follow you around. I mean, this one follows me around, but these go even a step further, and they're more for performance. Or if I was a teacher, or if I had a whiteboard, I'd be able to stand up and, you know, that kind of thing. So those have their own advantages to them. But this is the one that I have, this Meet 4K. I got the 4K. They do have a 1080, which is only $79. Not bad for a good webcam. But the 4K I paid on Amazon $150, and yeah, that's the one that I have. One with the red ring here. What's that?
Can we see your screen?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, you can. There it is. So it's just OBS Bot, and we'll go back to the beginning here. I say OBS Bot, they make some, you know, people really like their cameras. This is their new one that they just came out with. It's coming out within a couple of weeks. But these kind of follow you around. Those are the ones that, like I was saying, you could stand up. Well, I could stand up here too. You know, if I stand up, it should follow me. Oh, let's see, there it goes. There it goes. And I have it set to focus on my face, but you could have it set to focus on your upper body. You know, all kinds of nice little settings for it. And like say, this one here just goes a little bit further. But you know, it's twice as much money. So I just went with this guy here, and for what I need, it's working really, really good. I like it. You know, outside I got to watch what that I move, because I know some people, if you do this too much, you know, all of a sudden you're like in and out, and it's not a pleasing effect. So you got to watch that a little bit. And I can turn that off. I can absolutely turn that off. So.
It's got stereo microphone built in.
What's that?
It's got stereo microphone built in.
Yeah. Yep.
Is there any latency to it?
No, not that I know of. And it's got great reviews. A lot of people like it for a webcam, and so far I'm liking it. So I think it's pretty good. And like I said, I can just go and sit down. If you were to, my computer, sometimes I'm over here, and now that thing will kind of follow me. So it's just really easy for me to just sit down and start recording or do what I need to do. Sometimes I've noticed that my head will be over here when I record, but you can see it's not going to let that happen anymore. So just nice little thing. And as a nice picture, it's 4K, so it's a nice picture. All right, I have a Zoom user, and then we'll get to you, Betty. Zoom user, I don't know what your name is, but I see your hand is up. No? All right, Betty, what you got?
I just, PM, I just wanted to say that I put a link to a podcast in the chat.
Oh,
It's
yes.
a product engineer from 1Password who is talking about Passkeys.
Oh, great. Okay. I will put that into my show notes, and that will be on the site tomorrow. So thank you very much.
Okay.
So if anybody wants to, listen to that, you'll be able to see that tomorrow when I get this video online. I just copied it. Create bookmark. There we go. Perfect. Thank you, Betty.
You're welcome.
All right.
Passkey does not work with all the browsers either. I tried it with Firefox and it does not work.
No.
Does not support.
Yeah, the browser does have to support it. I'm assuming that Firefox will, although I know that they're hurting a little bit. Yeah, it does. It definitely has to be a browser supported kind of thing. So. All right. If that is it, I'm going to stop recording here. So.